Okay, so we've got Neil and Emma here from Urban Van Life. Thank you very much for joining us, guys, whilst you're on holiday. Really appreciate that. So it's just a quick conversation, really. You guys are very well known within the van life community, really, for your
Yeah.
videos. You know, you've grown a really great and loyal fan base that you sort of try and even communicate with, even when you're out in your van. So just wanted to have a quick conversation with yourselves to see why you initially started the channel and what the goal was, really.
It was, we've been in vans and building our own camper vans for 10 plus years now. I was doing a cryptocurrency YouTube channel, then got pretty bored of that pretty quick, didn't I?
Very quickly, yeah.
Although we still invest in crypto and believe in it, doing the YouTube channel just wasn't for us. So I decided that I was coming away from it, and then someone said, "Why don't you do one on vans? Because
Yeah.
you've had vans forever. It makes sense." So hence that's where the channel come from. And it was more, I think it was more a case, because we had a T4 at the time, it was more a case of showing people the nightmare that a T4 can be, and the fact that you were fixing it every other day, and basically just to document where we went and places we went to, and then strangely enough, people just seem to like the madness that is us.
Well, it's more you to begin with, wasn't it? I
Well,
only really got
yeah,
involved with the crafter side of
yeah.
things.
Emma came in when we were started building the bigger van, and then people love her more than they do me, which is, I don't mind. That's okay.
I think
I'm
they just
good
love
with
that
that.
I give you a bit of chip.
Well,
That's one of the things I was going to say. You pointed out, you know, when you were talking just then, you know, that, you know, you started it because you were fixing your van quite a lot and you wanted to sort of highlight that. Your channel's very well known for being open and honest, especially in regards to the mistakes. Even now in your sort of later videos, you know, if you do make an error, you don't hide it behind editing.
no.
You're always open and honest about that. Is that something you take great pride in?
It's just, I think it.
I think for us, if Neil's got a very good knowledge base, so if Neil's going to make that mistake, it shows that anyone can actually make that mistake.
Yeah.
And it gives people the confidence in themselves to actually give things a go.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, there's no one, with building vans and doing the stuff that we all do, I don't think anyone's a professional, because there's so many different things. There's a lot of people that are really good at it. And I would say that I think we were reasonably, we're very confident at doing things. But we all make mistakes, and there's no good. I'm not one of them people that we don't, we're only human beings, so we will genuinely make mistakes. And I think most of the mistakes we make, they're always kind of funny as well, because we know that, oh, I bet you loads of people do that. So it's nice to show that, you know, we're not we're not super intelligent, smart, you know.
Speak for yourself.
No, I think that's a really great sort of way of approaching it, and I think that is part of the big appeal of your channel. It was definitely what drew us to sort of working with yourselves, was that you weren't too shy to sort of say, "Oh, actually, we've got this wrong," or "We thought this and this was actually incorrect." I mean, in terms of, you know, those errors, do you feel confidence is the biggest thing with sort of designing and building your own van, or you know, does knowledge play a massive role?
I think you've got to you've got you've got to have a fundamental knowledge of a few things, as in, like, A, how to use a screwdriver, B, how to use a jigsaw. And then I think a lot of it is just really common sense. And it really is. It's just common sense and the willing to be, just to have a go. Just try.
Which ties into the confidence, because a lot of people don't have the confidence
Yeah.
to do it. And they probably second guess themselves massive. Like we know people who are like, "Oh, I don't think I'd be able to do that." It's like, why not?
Yeah.
Why do you not think you'd be able to do something?
People tend to talk themselves out of doing something because they don't believe in themselves, whereas we come across as, and I hope we come across as, look, we're nothing special. No. Although to each other we are quite special, you know what I mean?
Oh,
But we're not, you know, we're just normal, average, everyday people. And if we can do some of the crazy things that we've done and we do,
yeah.
Anyone can do it. It's
No.
just you don't need to have a degree in rocket science to do it. It's just like they says, follow the instructions on the tin, and if you mess up, then just go back to point one and start again.
I think that's a really good way of seeing, the whole process. Because I get the feeling from a lot of the community that a lot of people go into it with the sort of preconception that it's going to be a very easy process to do a van conversion.
Yeah.
And they often hit a stumbling block, and that's when things start to really get on top of them and they feel a bit overwhelmed by it. Is that something you also see quite a lot?
I think you also get the other end of the spectrum as well, where you get a lot of people that they go into it and it's panic stations, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they realise after they've done it, it's actually not that bad.
Mm.
They actually enjoy doing it. And loads of people have said, "Oh, we didn't think we could do it, but we watched a couple of your videos, a couple of other people's videos, and we seen you doing it and thought, let's give it a go."
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, even from our aspect, whenever a customer gets in touch and they're like, I want to install this, how difficult is it? And we always say, well, it's designed for DIY users, so you should be able to. When they come back and they say, oh yeah, it was very easy actually, so I'm going to install the next piece of equipment myself, that we always do find that that's quite a nice thing to hear on the end of the phone, that the customers are starting to gain, confidence in the products. In terms of your setup, what is that at the moment? What does that look like?
As in the van?
Yes.
I could probably describe it as overcomplicated chaos.
Okay.
Neat, tidy, overcomplicated.
Yeah,
chaos.
neat and tidy, overcomplicated chaos. We've gone down the route of because my brain doesn't stop thinking all the time. So everything we have in the van, you can turn the lights on by your phone. You can turn the external lights on by your phone. We add a lot of things in
that you don't need.
You don't need at all, but we do it. A lot of the things we add in is because we make content and we need to make content, and a lot of the stuff is just it's that ridiculous that why not? Just let's have fun.
And there is that thing that you're a bit of a tech geek as well. So if there's something new and he's a bit like a magpie,
right? Yeah,
new and shiny. Oh, I need to have it. I've got to play with it. I've got to see what it does. You've always been like that, though, haven't you?
Yeah, but say I mean, our van, although it's probably like electrically wise, it's probably OTT. Nobody needs 2 sets of CCTV cameras, and nobody needs some of the stuff we've got in. But hopefully, we can show people that you may not need this, but if you want to, you can have it. It is possible to do these crazy things and turn your lights on. But I mean, one thing with our van is we never struggle, do we? I mean, we go away. I mean, we're away with 5 or 6 other friends now. One person's had to turn the van on this morning because they ran out of electricity. We're still on 95%. Another couple, they're just in the process of building the van, and they've gone down the everything blue. So everything in the electricity, but it is all blue. But you don't necessarily need to do that. But it's nice to see different people doing different things and seeing what other people have done as well, isn't it? It's always really interesting.
I love having a good nosy in other people's vans.
Yeah,
terrible.
It's but no, our vans, we love it, don't we?
Yeah, this is home, isn't it? Even when we're away, it's just home.
I think that's why we're away more than we are at home, because we're more home in the van.
You've put so much work into making it that sort of space. It feels more like it for yourselves. I mean, you touched on a really good number of points there. The individuality of vans, and how people customize them. I think that's something a lot of our customers don't quite understand sometimes, because they come to us looking for a standard installation or standard kit. I mean, what are your feelings in terms of the individuality? Because I know you operate a lot within the van life community. You go to events and you meet all these other van lifers. I'm guessing through that you've seen very much a wide array of different types of vans.
Yeah, and it even goes from, I mean, some of the greatest van builds we've seen, people literally run off a power bank.
Okay.
And it's like, they've got no solar, there's no B2B, they run off a power bank, and everything that they need, they can power off the power bank. But the van is like a showroom, and then you see other vans where, electrically wise and installation wise, they've got everything known to man. Like, and they really have, and they've got, some people have just, they go, I think we go mad, but we're lower rung of the ladder when you look at some people's vans.
When we've been in some other people's vans, I have to pull Neil out before it gives them ideas. Like, no, we've got enough going on in the back of our van. We do not need any more power.
It's a small problem sometimes, but it's the one thing that I love, and it is, I genuinely do love the fact that there's no wrong van build. Like, nobody's van is built wrong, because everybody's van is built specific for them. And I think that's the beauty about, like, especially the self-build community, that every van is completely different. But every van tells a story of that person, and every van works perfectly for that individual as well, that's kind of a really nice thing, because
we have noticed as well, a lot of motorhomers now, they're upgrading their electrics and altering their motorhomes to be able to go a bit further off grids, and they're adding more power as they go. And some of the systems that we've seen some people put in, it's like, oof.
Yeah, I mean, some people basically rip out the whole motorhome system to put a self-build conversion kind of system in there, because they know, a lot of the motorhomes people buy, although they spend a ridiculous amount of money, they are only a weekend vehicle. They're not, you can't run off grid of them. They can't. There's so many disadvantages, but also advantages. But I think power-wise and electric-wise, they do suffer a lot more than the self-build.
Seeing a lot more of them upgrade that power, but do it themselves, which is good.
Yeah, which is nice,
because they're learning about the vehicle.
When you said earlier, that you build vans as well yourselves, and you've got that experience. So when you do take on a project like building a van, what do you go into it with the intentions of? Because as much as individuality plays a part, there must be something that you have a kind of idea as to where you want that van to start and go from.
That all starts with Emma.
Okay.
I have I've got minimal to zero say on what the van will look like, but Emma has this thing where she can kind of look into I can build a van in my head from scratch, and we can she knows when we're building it, and people that we've worked with in the past, nothing makes sense until the end, and then they go, now it makes sense. Emma does that when we're like this van we're in now, the Crafter, and she was like, well, we're going to have this, and we're going to have that, and we're going to do this, and that's going to be that colour, and this is going to be that colour, and I just sit there and I'm just like, that won't work. And then when we finish, I just kind of sit back and go, it really look good, that, doesn't it? It does work. So yeah, that is you, isn't it? You are.
Yeah, I do all the research into, because I am nosy and I love the inside of people's vans.
Yeah,
I'm constantly looking at things, thinking, oh, that's lovely, that's a nice feature.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that colour. Or, oh, could we have that there? And
if you do find Emma in your van at a show, she's not taking anything. She is merely just looking and being nosy. Yeah.
Just taking ideas. That's all.
Yeah. Because so many people, like, we've seen, like, Neil is obsessed with the electric side. You are. Yeah. Anything that lights up. But you like when we first started building this one. I came home from work one day, and you must have pulled enough cable through the bare bones of the van
to power Chernobyl.
Yeah, basically to power a power plant. And then I was like, are you sure we've got enough? And he was like, yeah. Comes to halfway through the build, we need this other cable going through into this tiny little space.
Yeah, we pulled about another 8 cables through.
It just kept on going because I need a USB here, or I need a little light at the back there. It's like, do you actually need that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my idea is in my defense, comfort is a great thing, and if you can design comfort around your van build, it only makes your experience of the van a lot more. So if I'm sitting here, I want a set of USBs there, which there are. If I'm sitting there, I want a set of, so I mean, our van has got, I think it's 14 USB sockets all around it, so they're literally everywhere. So it may be a bit overkill.
Yeah, I think we use 1, 2. I think we use 3 sets of the USBs out of 14.
Yeah. I mean,
but you've always got one in arm's reach.
If we need them, they're there.
But if we need them, they are there.
Yeah, we've got too many, and they're in locations that just work.
But given how efficient your van system seems at the moment, like you said, you've been off-grid your batteries are currently at 95%. That must make you very popular when you go to these shows and people are wanting to charge a phone or something.
Don't tell anyone.
Edit
that bit out now.
Edit that bit out.
All we try, it's normally people we're with, and it's one of our friends. It's an ongoing joke because we always get to a certain point of the night and we'll be like, what are your batteries on? And he'll pull his out like, I'm 42%, and we've only used 5% today.
And he's like, are you running a cable from my van to yours? It's like, no, mate.
Yeah, I mean, even when we were away in Aviemore last year, full moon, and we were pulling power in off the moon as of the solar.
Wow.
We were actually getting.
That was when we were on the AGMs, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, and we were actually getting about an amp.
Yeah.
But we were pulling power in off the moon, whereas our friend was on his last legs of power. So
yeah, it is good. We don't struggle at all, and that is down to you and what you put in place.
I mean, since we especially since we you guys have been helping us out, and we've been working with you guys, a lot of our electrical system has been updated to much more efficient and much better work. And because you can buy MPPTs for instance, you can go on Amazon and you can get a solar controller, and it'll be £14. It's not going to be efficient enough to do what you want it to do, so therefore your system in the long run is going to suffer because you don't want to spend that £100, maybe £150 on getting the right thing for the job. And I think that's a lot of things we've realised, isn't it? Is don't scrimp.
To be fair though, from the start of our build, we didn't really scrimp.
No.
Because I mean, we had that issue with the MPPT.
Yes.
People have been saying to us, "Oh, you've bought cheap," and it was like, well, actually, it was £130 when we bought it.
Yeah, and it was a very common unit that a lot of people bought.
Yeah, so it was like we didn't actually skimp on it, and we had it recommended. We did some research, and other people were using it. It actually went with the solar panels.
Yeah.
So, and then, but people just think, oh, you bought a cheap knockoff. But we actually hadn't. Things can fail.
Where electrics are concerned, it's always worth saving that little bit more, or maybe putting a bit more money to one side rather than having this. Make sure your electric system is working right, because let's face it, the first thing that's going to go on fire will be electric system. The first thing that will fail will be an electric system, and you see it time and time out again. So I mean, I think for us, getting everything right from the start, even if it's another 6-12 months that you've got to wait before the whole van's finished, it's worth putting them things in place just so you're safe.
That's a really good point to make, because a lot of our customers, they go into, I think, their builds and they think the electrics should be the fastest option, and the fastest installation bit, and they try to get it in as quickly as possible so they can then start, making their van look pretty. But from what you're saying, you would say that's probably more important than making the van look and
Yeah,
feel.
I mean, I think the prettiness and the personalization of the van, that comes second. I'm a very make sure it works properly type of person. It's got to function properly. It's got to work right. Then we'll move on to adding some decor, because the problem with the van builds is if you put cheap wiring in or the wrong size cables or you're using the wrong equipment, once you've built the van, you've then got to, in theory, strip the van down to rip stuff out, to write stuff in.
We went away in this before it was fully built anyway.
Yeah.
To
half
yeah.
built.
It had like the bed framing, mattress, and we put a makeshift kitchen in just to see where we'd want things and to see how the electrics were working and things like that when we were away, and to see what power we were utilizing.
And did you find that kind of exercise helped you when you came back?
Oh, massively.
Yeah, because we kind of realized when we built this van, we were not going to fit a DC to DC at all. We were like, no, we'll just keep the whole van system completely separate to the living system.
Yeah.
But then after a couple of days in Scotland in the winter, we realized we need a DC to DC like pretty quick. So we ended up buying one. We ordered one while we were away.
Yeah.
The Truma heater was in, the gas was in, the bed was in, and we basically winged the setup for a week, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, and we only had Poppy, then we didn't have Dolly, so we just had the one little dog.
And then we knew how big. Right? Okay. Well, we want the kitchen to be this long, and we need this stuff to go there.
Yeah.
That stuff to go there. So the shower wasn't built in, the kitchen wasn't done. The only real thing was the electric system and the bed frame.
Yeah, that was pretty much the only sturdy thing that was
in.
And
the heater.
And the swivel seats.
The swivel seats and the boiler, that was in. But yeah, doing something like that. And we all, that's one thing we tell everybody. Half build your van. Build your van to a point where you could go away, even if you've got to take a little gas stove and a plug-in freezer. Just go away for a few days, use the van, and you will come back and go, do you know what? Maybe I don't need to do this. Maybe I was going to put that there and it would be better there. And we did, didn't we? We really...
Yeah, I mean, some people, when we suggest it to them, are mortified, but for us, it was quite easy because we've been in the T4 previous.
Yeah.
So we're used to only having the rock and roll beds and like a two ring and a sink. So we knew kind of we'd be all right no matter what happened anyway.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, but when we suggested to people, and then people have come back and gone, you were right, you know, because I would have had this here, but then I wouldn't have known I needed this, but now I'm changing it. And
even friends of ours, I mean, we've got friends now who we're with, and their van is probably half built, and even talking to them, they're like, do you know what? We're glad we've come away a couple of times because we know we're not going to do this there. We're going to put that there, and we might want to reroute them wires because we don't think that is going to fit there. And it really does it. Why wait to get away in the van? That was one of the things for us. We were kind of up to here. We pulled that many cables through. We'd had that many arguments, and it was just a case of, right, we need a few days away because we needed the days away, and then it turned into a whole rescheduling of what we were doing with the van. It turned out to be the best thing ever.
Yeah, it was the best thing we could have possibly done.
Yeah.
As far as everything, because then we knew, oh no, well actually these cables need to be here, or this needs to be there, and then because we were like, well, if we sit here or if we sit there, we need light here or we need this here overnight, because when you're away in Scotland, and when especially overnight, it goes pitch black.
Yeah.
Also, it gives you a real good sense of getting to know the van and have you used the right insulation. You know, could you have done with more insulation at least? You know, especially because we went away and it was like October, wasn't it? Was it October? November. So it was pretty cold.
Yeah.
But we knew when we come back, it was like, well, you know what? We've got the insulation spot on because we weren't cold. But if we'd have come back and been like, it was a bit cold of a night time, right, we need to relook at where we've got insulation. Do we need to add more?
I think we would have struggled more if the Truma wasn't already fitted.
Yes. We would massively, massively. But
I feel cold very easily, don't I? So it was.
Yeah, definitely use your van halfway through the build. That would be my biggest. And if you are, if you're struggling and you can't find what information is out there, just keep things simple. Keep things simple, and you can always add on to things later on.
I was going to say that's one thing you do quite a lot. I can see in your sort of videos, that you're continually trying to upgrade your van. You live in it quite successfully. You travel across the UK and Europe in it quite successfully, but that hasn't stopped you making changes.
Not Europe just yet.
Not Europe just yet, but that's coming up.
We will be into Europe. We will. We are planning.
That is the plan. But you've changed your sort of solar panel system, and I watched the video where you put them on hinges and struts. So you're not sitting with the van as it is. You're continually kind of updating it. Is that something you take quite a lot of joy out of? Is tweaking the van, changing the van, or?
Yeah, I mean, I love doing that type of thing, but that doesn't come. I mean, that is not me doing it through the fact that it needs doing it. I do it because I just can't sit still.
Yeah,
that is an actual thing that runs in your family.
Yeah,
because your dad is the exact same.
Yeah, I just
they
can't.
are tinkerers.
I can't. If something is, I mean, the solar panels. There was nothing wrong with the solar panels the way they worked. The hinges worked perfectly. Maybe if it had a couple of little stands just to alter the height. We did not need to put them on actuators.
No, we did not.
But I'd seen someone with them. So it was up there that
you wanted them
to do this, and then that was it. Emma she shakes her head sometimes and just goes like,
"Well, those actuators nearly ended this relationship." So
well, we nearly killed each other.
I was going to say the chemistry between you two in the videos. There are times when there are a little bit of heated exchanges. Is that something you guys enjoy or suffer with a lot?
Yeah,
I feel like that relationship is what makes you guys so likable, especially with your sort of viewership. And even when you're out on the road, you're still continuing to sort of put out content. You do your live streams with your community as well, and you are very well known. Do you take great pride in that, in the fact that you are so known and respected in the community for your videos and for your personalities?
I think it's nice when for me, and it's probably the same for Emma as well. It's really nice when we do meet people, and people always go, "Yeah, exactly what you are like in the videos."
Yeah, for us, that's a really nice thing, because we've had friends of ours, people have approached them and said, "Are they really like that? Or is it scripted?" And then those people have then met us at a later date. I've maybe come out of the van with a frying pan ready to hit him or something, and they're like, "What the hell's going on?"
We're away now with a couple of friends and 2 subscribers that we know. Well, 2 subscribers that watch the channel, but are now friends. Because we've met them and we've become friends
met them
with
at shows.
So we're not. We are literally we are the same idiots that are recording videos. We really are, but there's no
more idiot over this side.
I know.
Well, that's part of what I think especially appealed to me when I saw your videos, was the realism behind it, because there are a lot of channels out there that, perhaps put on a bit of a show and, try to paint a picture about van life. But what your channel and what you tend to do is you tend to, as I was saying earlier, is be very honest about it and the struggles as well in regards to it, with the mistakes that you make and the fact that you are living in close proximity. I mean, I know you take your dogs with you out on a lot of your trips. I'm guessing that added another layer of difficulty to the van.
There's one never far away.
Yeah, we've only been away without them about once or twice, and that was for like 1 or 2 days. So they stayed at their nanny and granddad's spa, as we call it, because they don't want to come home afterwards. Yeah. But we've built the van with them in mind as well, because we did actually make them their own little den that's built in, which they refuse to use now. It's very rare they go in there. They'd rather be up on the big seats, which is fine. But yeah, they come everywhere with us. They're just the family.
you work a lot with other influencers, and you help them on their channels. You worked with Will, who we've also worked with in the past. And you've also worked with Mispronounced Adventures as well, Alex, who does some great content. When you go to those kinds of van people, those van conversions, are you trying to? Is it good for you guys to sort of learn from them as much as they learn from you, or do you find that you're mostly giving out information than receiving?
I mean, where YouTubers concerned, I am very YouTubey, aren't I? Like,
yeah, he loves all the back ends of YouTube.
Yeah,
but
I can go down a rabbit hole and bore people senseless.
I walk away. I genuinely walk away. I get bored. I take the dogs for a walk. But with the electrical side of things and the building side of things, what is really nice is to see, like, say Neil, Will, Alex, and say Paul, and say Andy, who's here now. So they will all sit there and they will have conversations. Alex may be able to input something that Paul couldn't, and Neil can input something else, and they share ideas, and that is nice, and that's what it should be about.
It's like a big gang of kids with Lego.
Yeah.
The only way, and I mean, and you pick up some, someone will come up with something, you're like, oh, I never thought of that. That's a really good idea. And, there's always something that you come away from these, the shows or the meetups, and it always costs you money.
I was going to say that is the only negative. We go away to a show, which is why I'm banning Neil from a lot of shows at the minute. Go away to a show, someone will have something or come up with an idea or something, and it's going to cost you hundreds or thousands of pounds coming away, because
normally turns up on Wednesday.
Or you get a notification that it's at the house while you're still away, and you're like, what's arrived?
It's an issue. But I mean, we don't drink, we don't smoke, we don't go clubbing it, we don't go on expensive holidays away. To be fair, everything that we spend is on a van or something to do with the van.
Yeah, basically, this is what we spent our money on.
But we enjoy it, and I think you've got to do what you enjoy. But yeah, we do pick up things from other people, don't we, all the time.
I mean, even non-van related, there's certain things sometimes. Like for me, I'm massively into cooking. Coming to places like this,
she cooks well as well. You can probably tell. She's a good cook.
You meet other people who are like-minded. So when one of our friends, Paul, he is absolutely amazing. I'll go in his van, see what he's making, learn something from him. Or he'll come in our van and go, what are you doing? And learn something from me, because you all cook different things.
Yes.
It's just that sense of community. You all help each other.
The community is brilliant. It is. It's, we know a lot of people who maybe a bit reclusive, and they've got into the van community, and they've gone away and met a few people, and it's opened them up, hasn't it? It really has. It's brought them a new lease of life, if you'd say. It does people a lot of good. Just being outdoors with good people, it's good for the soul. It really is.
Definitely, yeah. No, and you do get that sense from your sort of channel and your Instagram feeds and everything else like that you do enjoy that interaction with the community. I mean, in terms of your van, you started with the T4, you've now got the Crafter. What's been realistically the biggest change you've seen in terms of the technology moving in? Because I know, we've moved away from, the Euro 4 and Euro 6 engines. We brought in DC to DC, lithium. Yeah. So what's been like the big change that you would say blew you away?
Probably the introduction of lithium. For me, the introduction of lithium, and the fact that, yes, we all know lithium is not cheap, and it's not. But with some of the electrical stuff that you can have in your van now, you never have to worry about power.
Yeah.
And you genuinely don't. It's either you can get it from the sun. If there's no sun, with the introduction of MPPTs and better solar, you are still pulling sun in, whereas a few years ago you might have got none.
Yeah.
And for me, that is, especially a lot of people who live in the vans full time and want to travel, it's a massive thing to be able to have power it just opens up a whole new world of things where you can use things in your van that you never used to be able to use. What's yours?
I'd say the same. My only thing with lithium is that, again, because obviously I'm aware that it's not as environmentally friendly as it could be.
Yeah.
And people, I don't think a lot of people are always aware of that because they think it's more environmentally friendly, but it's not. But then, if you are using a lithium battery for a lot longer, because like some of the when we were talking about the lithium batteries that we've had put in, we were getting told like the life cycles and things like that. So if you can cut down from, because we had 3 batteries, we've now got 1.
Yeah.
And this is going to last 3 times as long as those 3. So that would have been 9 batteries for us.
Yeah.
Whereas we're only utilising the 1.
Yeah.
So
double the power, and we lost 3/4 of the weight.
Yeah.
So that for me was massively game changing.
Yeah.
For us personally, because we lost 8 stone off the van as well straight away.
Yes. Yeah.
But as well as that, I do, for me,
with Emma's cooking, we've put that 8 stone back on, but just not in battery weight.
Just not in battery weight.
Yeah.
We're going to be working on that when we get back, so shut up.
In terms of your van, what would you say is your best buy from both of you? What's the best buy in your van?
The best buy in the van. I would probably say, that it really is a hard one. I would either go lithium or the Orions for charging the lithium on the go. But then it would equally be the Truma boiler.
Okay.
What will you?
Truma boiler for me, just because
water.
I really, really suffer in the cold.
Yeah.
And as well, so do the little girls. And before anything, before myself, before Neil, they come first to me. So as long as they're warm and happy.
I would say Truma boiler and our fridge
and then
size.
The fridge.
The fridge.
The
fridge.
It had to be.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love our fridge.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit bigger.
We've got it's 125 litre, isn't it?
No. It's 120 litre.
120 litre Vitrifrigo. Uses the same power as a CX50.
Yeah.
You can store double and more.
Perfect.
It's never failed us.
It's never let us. Everyone else, we've been away, and it's been like living in a tin can.
Yeah.
Like
mega harsh where people's fridges can't cope, and
and ours just powered through and was just perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were even storing ice cream in it when everyone else was like, "How's your fridge still working?"
That must have made you extremely popular on those hot days.
It actually did, didn't it? You're like,
yeah.
Well,
we ran out of ice cream. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. That's the first thing to come out.
Yeah, the fridge and definitely the Truma.
Yeah,
they're the 2 things that
would be function wise. Aesthetically wise, for me, I would say the mule roof rack.
Perfect. And what would be your worst buy? What's the worst thing you've bought for the van?
The worst thing we bought for the van.
Poppy's got her own worst pick here. It sounds like.
Come here.
She's being honestly.
Right. You can sit there and watch what's going on. Worst thing we bought for the van, I would say, for me, was one of those USB plug-in, hang off the ceiling.
Mosquito killer things.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely useless. I think if anything, it attracted more flies into the van than it did kill them.
Yeah.
Me, it's gonna be, in all honesty, where our van is at the moment, the shower tray.
Yes. Oh yes.
The shower tray in the shower.
Mm.
It may as well be made of cheese.
I mean, the van, you know, seems to function you really well. You seem to work from it quite easily with your YouTube videos and your streams, you know, and that must be something, you know, that you always had in mind when you were designing it and building it, that you wanted to be able to do, you know, your YouTube and continue that even when you were on the road. So
we wanted to basically, we built the van in a way where everything that we have at home, we can have in the van when we, you know, when we go away. There's nothing, we're not missing this and we're not missing that. And
we do both work online a lot as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Both of us work online, so for if we do need to be able to work, it's there. And we're comfortable doing it.
I mean, our van serves us perfectly.
Yeah, but I think everyone, if they are building their own van, they don't want to look at other people's and go, "Oh, well, I like that." You need to make it work for yourself.
Yeah, do what works for you.
Which is the same.
Yeah, that's it. It's you've got to do what works for you. It's it is the only way. You can take ideas and inspiration off people, but just don't. I mean, if copying somebody else's van works for you, then by all means, just copy what they've done. There's no harm in it. No one owns the patent or the right on it. But make it for you.
Yeah, no, it's got to work for your comfort level. It's like with these seats. How many times have these been changed? Because when we were sitting here, you weren't quite comfortable.
No, so then we ripped the fronts off and we made them extend, so we can use it as like a couch area. So it's like a pull-out bed, but it's not big enough to be a bed, but it's still comfy enough for us to both sit here over night time with our legs out, watch the TV,
or even work from here while one of us is working from the other side. So you've got it. It's only by utilizing your own van you know what's going to work for you. So,
no, I think that's, you know, a message that, you know, I think you've really pointed out, you know, during this call, is that a van is an individual thing, and you need to look at it in that aspect and try to sort of make it more your own. So I think that's a really good point to end this meeting on, really, because I feel like that really brings it home for us. So thank you very much, both of you, for taking part, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you for the continued support. And you know, the good thing, one thing we love about 12 Planet is the fact that you guys know everything, and the information that you put out, even on the blogs you do and things like that, it goes further than what a lot of other companies do. You really do take.
It's like having a personal go-to. For a business, if you get what I mean. It's giving it that personal touch.
I mean, some of the blogs, I picked loads of things up off the blogs you do and the things you put online, and it kind of is. It's like looking after the end user and give them just a little bit more information and things like that, which most companies and most businesses don't do. They want to sell a product and they're happy, and you know, they'll refund if something goes wrong. But you guys do it in a way where, okay, we'll sell you it, but we'll also give you all the information you need to know about what it does, how it works. You know, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, and things like that. Which is really, that's a nice thing to do from a company perspective, is to have that information out there, ready, available for people to use.
Oh, well, thank you. That's really kind to hear, and we do take great pride in it. So it's always good to hear that it's having an impact. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it.